All right, that was a little harsher than I thought.
I hit the wrong button.
Okay. Wow. Hold on. It's supposed to be ease it down. Ease it down. Oh yeah.
It started at the beginning again.
What are you, there's no mulligans. It's live. Jeez. Anyway, hi. I'm Joe Lewis. This is Battle Rankings Live, and we're in Studio A. And we're on my super mega computer instead of my laptop Pro. Anyway, so here we are. This for me. This is where all the magic happens.
Daddy's NASA supercomputer.
And we got the well. This is where I do all the work and whatnot. But anyway, well, welcome to Battle Rankings Live, guys. You know what? Every show is special, but this one's extra special. Why is it extra special?
Why is it extra special?
I don't know. We're going to make it extra special. So what we're going to do is let me take care of some housekeeping. Well, first of all, we opened up. I don't know if you guys, the faithful viewers who watch it live. Did you see what I had on the opening splash page? Yes, a Panzer IV. And of course, what song was playing? The Panzer's death song. I don't know what's it.
Panzerlied.
Panzerlied.
No, Panzerlied.
Lead.
Panzerlied.
Lead?
Yes.
Lead. Anyway.
Panzer March.
As you get answer over there. So it's a Panzer March. It's
Yes.
a march to their death. Because that's what basically the song's about. It's basically, hey, we're going to go out there. We're going to give it the best. We're going to fight. And guess what? If I die, bury me in my Panzer. Oh, that's charming. But, that's, by the way, I think it's the unofficial song, or did they make it official for the German army today? I know they still use it. So anyway, but there's the tank song. Gotta love it. Hey, if you want to stand up and start singing, stamping your feet and telling your oldest person in the room to start singing. Anyway,
Like Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah, the Battle of Bulge. Okay. Anyway, so with that, I'm going to some housekeeping. First of all, Toys for Tots. That is happening, and we start organizing. I think we finalized the copy, and I'm hoping that Battlefront will post it up on their site this week, this Thursday when they do the update. Fingers crossed. And if not, I guess latest next week. But it is happening, and so for the month of November, all the way through the first weekend of December, hold a Toys for Tots event where you will. Basically, what it is the entry fee for whatever you're doing. It could be a tournament, it could be a mega battle, whatever you want to do. As long as you guys play the game and have some fun, but bring a toy, and then the store will collect it, or you have an individual collect it. Like for my events, I'm the one that collected, and I go and take it to the Marines and drop it off. They're always amazed when I open up the back end and I'm like, hey, I need a little help. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're thinking it's one box. And man, it's like I have to fold the seats down because that's how much stuff we collect. And we do the Flames of War. We collect some stuff. And I also try to get some other guys to run some of their stuff. And they do a collection too. Then, by the way, I don't take their stuff and put it with ours and take a picture. That's just what the Flames of War do. Then I gather all up and I drive it over, and man, the car is just just bursting at the seam with toys, and they're like, "Wow, this is awesome!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is pretty awesome." So it feels good to give. It feels good to give. But anyway, that's what the Toys for Tots. So just like this would be the third year we're doing it, and or Germany the third year we're doing it. We're so be active. Try to organize it. Now I know we got the COVID thing going on, so be mindful of your local and national, guidelines. Follow those. Keep some distancing, but you could still get something going. Be clever about it. And actually, one of the things is I like to try to do something that brings more toys in. I used to do it last couple of years. I would do a thing where if you brought an extra toy in, you get a free reroll. Well, that started getting abused a little because some people would not there was not anything wrong with it, but they would bring in like 10 toys, and get like 10 free rerolls, and it was kind of affecting the game. So you want to affect the game, but not. I'm going to tell you what I am going to do. I'm working on it, so this is kind of a brainstorm. I'm going to do an Iron Man tournament. And so if you lose units, they're gone for the rest of the tournament. Oh, you want them back? Yeah. Prepay them with toys. So that's how you get your units back. So, hey, then I'm just trying to figure out how many points a toy's worth. And then that's how many points you get back. So I'm just trying to do the math. So that way you could go and, hey, you know what? I know I always get my ass handed to me. So guess what? I'm going to bring a lot of toys so that I'm not, out too much for the next game. But that's the idea, is to get people to bring in more toys and give them a reason to do it. And that way we could spread some joy and some fun. Basically do good, have fun, and be safe out there. That's what we're going to do. The dates for Toys for Tots is wrap it up by the first weekend of December. So anywhere in November through Thanksgiving, but by the 5th and 6th of December, have your event. Now I know Able Company, or the one I'm going to be doing, is going to be the Saturday, the 5th, December 5th. We're going to be doing something at the store. And it's a tournament. Basically, it's going to be an Iron Man tournament. And and that's what we're going to do. So by that time, just have it in, and then have your store send in the list of the players, and then all the stores across the country in North America and that kind of they'll all those names will go into a hat, and Battlefront will draw from the hat. Basically, there's I don't want to misspeak for them. I think there's 5 major winners where you kind of win a small part army, and the major winner, the top winner, wins their height in boxes. Now, by the way, it's not it's not boxes this way. It's boxes this way, not like this way or this way. Basically, it's a stack of boxes this way, and you win your height. And it's the first year we actually had someone from the Family Time Games win one. And I'll tell you what, seeing that all stacked up next to them is pretty impressive. By the way, for your the more shorter stature fellows and gals that play, or the kids, there's a minimum of 5'8". So you won't be left out if you're shorter. It's at least 5'8". So that's a lot of stuff. I know the guy that won in our place. He's pretty much set for life. He's still painting stuff. That was 2 years ago. Anyway, there you go. So it's a great event. Battlefront supports it. It's a tremendous support, actually. And the thing is that we're doing it for the kids. And work with your game store. Have your game organizer at the game store get a hold of their sales rep to get that all going. Matter of fact, even before the announcement, start pushing it. Schedule your date and have it done. I know in the past that we have across the country, I think we had like 15 or 16 events going on. Let's see if we can get that up especially as hopefully things will be going better, and we'll have more people get out and play, or give them a reason to come out and play. So that's what it. Man, I put a tagline in this one: "Do good, have fun, stay safe, or stay healthy. Always stay safe, but stay healthy." That is about Toys for Tots. So get out there, brush your game store. Let's get it doing. Speaking of events, Masters. So Masters this year is at Hard Knocks Games in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And with that, it's kind of an intro. I'm going to bring in my SME that's going to help me with the SS Germans.
Show me your mug.
Oh, what's it?
Show me your mug.
Show my
Mug.
Oh, my family time. No, sorry. Whoops. Hard Knocks game mug that I won. It was a major award.
Is it Hard Knocks game on both sides?
No. There's a rat. I actually played Allies that year. I think it was mid-war, and I was a Leo. A Leo tank company. I wish I'd been awesome. It'd be like Final Countdown or something. It was the Lees. Oh no, yeah, the Lees. I had a bunch of Lees. Anyway, but let's bring in the my SME, which is Tom Burgess. Hey Tom, how are you doing?
Hey Joe, everybody, how y'all doing? And Joe, met you. I got my Hard Knocks Games mug too, which is only had dice in it since I've ever had it.
Well, Tom, first of all, I'd like to thank you for helping me work with the game store to set them up to be the host this year. So that was nice of them to step up. It's a great store. If you've never been there, it's definitely check it out. They have a wide range of stuff that's all game related, and you can't beat their paint section.
Yeah, they keep adding to it all the time. I go into the store frequently, and almost every time I go in there's a whole new rack of another high end. They got the MiG ammo, they got the AV stuff, they've got everything, and not just the paints, but then the special rust finishes and the weathering effects, and then the scenery effects. They have a Vallejo terrain like basing section now. Just a whole rack just for that alone. So it's amazing how many products are out there and how many Hard Knocks games actually puts in stock.
No, I know when I go there, I'm always dropping some money. So especially on the paint supplies, definitely a must. And so I'm sure they'll probably be seeing me, happy to see me come in because I drop a couple of dollars when I get there. But no, that's cool. And it turns out you'll be attending Masters this year as a player.
Yeah, I got lucky. I scabbed in, right? I guess some folks from West Coast didn't want to do the flights or whatever the case, but very, very appreciative and happy that I'll get to participate this year. I'm looking forward to it.
No, that's awesome. I think, by the way, you got some Patrick saying hi, Iron Tom.
Hey.
Yeah, it's cool because now, Tom, on top of let me give you some background. Tom also does the Battle Fault podcast with Ed Hall. That's basically once a month, right?
Yeah, once a month. They try to keep it about 2 hours and try to talk about what's going on across the U.S. In terms of tournaments, some of the results of what has happened recently, some of the upcoming events, and then in between, we like to talk. We get interviews from other people. You've been on there as a guest, Joe, and we try to bring people in to talk about the hobby in their area or specifically about a focus. Like the last one we did, we had Aaron on board, Aaron MP with us, and we went through the Bagration Soviet books. So we try to make it useful. We enjoy doing it, and hopefully provides a bit of a service and helps promote the game. And I think lately we've been mostly Flames of War. We like to say we cover everything's Battlefront, tactical gaming wise, but we haven't talked about Team Yankee much lately. So we're due for a return. I guess with the World War III Russians coming out, probably big part of our next podcast.
Actually, that's why I'm wearing the shirt.
Oh yeah,
because after Masters, my plan is go back to Team Yankee and start looking at especially the new Russian book, what the T-80 and something blah 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 3. I don't know.
yeah.
And I'm like, basically. After 1946, I kind of lose military history a little.
Yeah, well, the T-55s, they also now get those for the Soviets. You don't have to take the East Germans or Poles to get those on the board. You can take them as Soviet now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, Patrick here says Soviet TOS for the win.
Yeah, he's talking about the thermobaric rocket launcher. It's a T-72 hull with a big overpressurization, rockets that go out. They just cause like a fuel air explosion that just causes a huge shock wave, and it just crushes bodies just with the shock wave alone. Doesn't need shrapnel or anything, and it's pretty gruesome. It's going to be an evil addition to the game.
Oh, that sounds pleasant.
Yeah.
Is it the same theory like the mother of all bombs, Daisy Color kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of. There's multiple rockets going out. They inject fuel in the air, and then it ignites the air, and it turns the air into a big bomb and causes a massive overpressurization, and that's not good.
No.
It's I think in game terms, I think it ends up being something like a brutal effect, and firepower 1+ reroll. And just gonna be. It's not gonna do anything to vehicles, but it's gonna tear infantry up. It's just going to be bad news. And, of course, there'll be a salvo template.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So so there you are with your little West German infantry of 6 stands, if you're lucky. And all of a sudden, I wonder if I get all 6 stands here.
Yeah. Probably take out more than 6 stands. Probably take out the whole company.
Okay, not to get off subject. What's the missile that actually fires over the vehicle and explodes down on top of the tank?
Well, a lot of modern missiles do that. That's not a unique thing. I think the one of the first ones I knew that did it was one of the TOWs did that, and as it rotated over, it had 2 warheads set off at like different angles. So as it rotated over, one fired, and it continued a little bit more, and rotated a bit more, and the next one fired. So that's top attack weapons are not unique anymore. Pretty much everybody's got them.
Oh, well, Jonathan was saying here about that. Yeah, brutal auto firepower, and he's saying it's only 9 points. Good Lord.
Yeah, it'd be a high priority target. You don't want that thing sitting around very long.
No, probably not. Well, speaking of priority targets. So I'm going to segue into this. So this past weekend, some of you may know, maybe not know, Chris Fretz ran a tournament here in town, Indianapolis, and it was 78 points. And matter of fact, some of the clutter over here that you see, that's me going through my bags, and I just haven't been cleaned up. But basically, this room is a no and zone, so that's why it's a mess. When we had the dog, and she would come here, the dog would bark her out. Ruff, ruff, ruff. You don't belong here, Anyway, so, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to run. At 78 points, I mean, I could have done British, I could have done Russians, but I ended up doing Germans. And you know what particular thing I ran with company? I ran a Panzer IV company. And as everyone knows, I have been not too high. I haven't spoke very highly about the Panzer IV. But I was thinking, hey, you know what? It's 78 points. is there a possibility that maybe it actually works well at lower points? Because I don't see it working well at higher points, definitely. So that's why we kind of panned it. So I thought, well, let me kind of give the whirl here, and I'm gonna pop this up. I'll show you what I ran. I actually ran I did the Waffen SS, but I actually did that for support. But I actually ran a regular Panzer III-4 mix tank company. So that way I got a little cheaper HQ. I had a Panzer IV and a Panzer III in my HQ. And then three platoons of Panzer IVs. It turns out the reserves is 32 points. So 16 plus 16 is 32. So that was what I was going for reserves. But yeah, unfortunately, Brian, I can't. I don't want to put that on the screen for reasons. But I did take the Hummel. That's why I wanted the SS support. By the way, it's always 9+1 because you always want your observer. I did take SS Panzergrens and just straight up because I didn't have too much points. And of course, a recon for the win. That's what I did, and that was my 78 points. The interesting thing about the list was, well, actually, I was really worried about only 3 tanks in a platoon because it doesn't take much to kill one, bail one. I know you need a 3 to get back in, but it doesn't get back in, and I know you need a 3 to stick around. And for me, they usually they don't get back in and they don't stick around and they're gone. So that I was a concern because a couple bad rounds, you're pretty much a broken company. My first opponent was an American, anti-tank company, tank destroyers. So there was tank destroyers backed up by a company of veteran rifles, and I'm like, oh, good God. I took mobile, and I took attack, and my opponent took defend, and we ended up in Bridgehead. I think that's what happened. I know we played Bridgehead, but I was trying to figure out if I had mobile or attack. Anyway, we did that. We got Bridgehead. My opponent deployed, and I was able to get in the side, and I was able to move my infantry into a 2-story building, and I squashed any decent ambush, and I was able to assault his infantry without a bazooka being within 8 inches. And I was pretty much on the objective by turn 3. I was kind of moving a little cautiously, but I ended up with just losing 1 tank and took the game. So I consider my opponent misdeployed. I don't think he uses minefields in the best way. I had a way around it, and I got that. The second one, so that was an 8-1. The second game, I ended up playing Chris Novak, who is not a pushover, far from it. And he had an elephant, 6 of those half-track 7.5s, pack 40s. It's just, he had 2 things. It was an infantry company. They all had, Panzerfaust and stuff. And I'm like, Rrr. Well, the thing was, we ended up in dust up, and he did not have a good reserves options. So he brought a he brought in an infantry company in his Pack 40s into reserve. That means that one of his objectives was open, and it was just the 7.5 sitting on him. And turn 4, I actually got both of my reserves on. I pretty much ignored his elephant and just went straight forward. And the battle of my six Panzer IVs versus his 6 7.5s, I won that one. That was pretty easy. Didn't lose anything in there. And by the time I got to the objective, an elephant by itself is not going to hold an objective. Basically surrounded it, and that was the end of the elephant, and that was for the win. Another 8-1. Now the last one, which was against his dad, Richard Novak, who's an extremely aggressive player, and we were in contact, and I was defending. He had the Panthers, the Russian Panthers. So basically, it's 7 points a tank. So he has 21 points of Panthers. They still shoot just like any other Panther. It's just, they just don't. You just plus 5 skill. Okay, who cares? You just put them out there, and just plink away. He also had 4 T-34-85s and infantry and right. He started off with his T-34-85s on the board, his infantry, and of course on turn 1, what's he get? He gets the Panthers on the table. What do I have? I only have 4 Panzer IVs and my Hummels is my only really anti-tank. And I'm like, oh, this ain't going well. And he's pushing. I think, is it being really choppy? That's why I went to this machine. Maybe I need to. I have the fastest speed I can get in my neighborhood. So, anyhow, the end result was, I popped my ambush where he didn't expect it, he was pushed. I had my infantry on one objective and I had my Hummels on another. And he pushed the infantry to go to the Hummels, which I would have. And he had his T-34s coming right with them. And then all of a sudden, here comes the Panthers. They're all coming. I was able to pop my ambush in a place where I could move up and machine gun his infantry, clipping part of it because there was a woods there. I was able to isolate the Commissar and protect myself because his other tanks were on the other side of the woods, and they weren't close enough to get through. But the infantry was. I was able to cap the Commissar and a whole bunch of other infantry. His saves weren't that good. Of course, hitting on 3s, I hit a lot. A bunch of people died, and the Commissar is gone. Then the Hummel came down and took out the other side that I couldn't see, and he started with the full thing of hero rifles, and it was below half after that round, and they never took a step forward after that. They couldn't dig in, and then I blew them away. The rest of them. So
not one step forward, right?
No, yeah, but the thing is that his Panthers had an opportunity to cap that platoon, and he actually only got 2 hits and failed one of the firepowers. If he would have made that firepower, that's probably not looking good. I was able to get back in, and I bought enough time for that. Once again got lucky. Turn 4, both my reserves come on in a good spot. One in the corner where that we were playing, one on the back plane, and I was able to do a pincer. I was able to take care of the T-34s, and now what's left of my tanks were going and pushing on his Panzers. His Panthers. And then his Panthers, which way am I going to face? Eventually, you're exposing the weaker side to me, and then that was pretty much game. So 8-1, 8-1, 8-1. Played my ass off, and the dice did do me good. Though I'll tell you what, on blitzes for the whole tournament, I probably tried 6, and I only made 1.
So you're gonna run Panzer Force for Masters now, right?
I was thinking for a lark. Why not? Who knows?
Hey,
but anyway, because I haven't played.
And no thought about running the SS Panzer Force. I know you went with SS support, but the 3-point saving per platoon didn't entice you at all.
Yeah. Well, we'll discuss that because that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk today about the SS, the Waffen SS book, right?
Yeah. I think I know why your stream might be lagging now.
Why do you think it's lagging?
There's a thunderstorm.
Oh, there's a thunderstorm coming through?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that might not help things. Anyway, if we get cut off, there's a thunderstorm. So, all right. Anyway, we'll just play through. All righty. Well, hey, let's go. Let's take a look here. Let me remind people what we're doing here. What we did is I sent a survey out, and the survey is we've done a whole bunch of other stuff. We've done the the Americans, the regular Germans, the British. Now we're doing the SS, for D-Day, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to rate them. You guys rated them, and we're going to discuss it. M for the meta, that's how good they are. They're like broken. A for strong. B for it's okay against certain opponents and situations. C, it's a fun list, but struggles. D, forget it. It's a dog. And that's what we were going to do. So we had a survey out there, and I was hoping for some more people. Maybe it was a holiday. I just didn't notice. But we did get a decent amount. And some of them left comments. Let's see what they said. Oh, by the way, on the Panzer IVs, I will pay myself $100. Yes, but by the way, that's a nationals, not a regular tournament or anything like that. The regular nationals, like a Adepticon or whatever nationals they got to come on.
Yep. Let's hope we have one.
Yeah, I was had a communication going back and forth with the guys in U.S. Battlefront in U.S. about points and that kind of stuff. So they're trying to get that all straightened out. But let's see, back to the book. Let's see what comments that people made. I like the first one here. You gotta love it. SS stands for super suck. Then the SS book seems broken. Being hit on 3s for Germans is too painful, and having trained support options makes them less effective. SS is the best for support option for the year. SS Panzers as a support are solid. That's an interesting way of looking at it. But because that's what I did, with my tanks. The outstanding support options, but the best use of the SS black box is regular German list. So you got those two people agreeing. Lots of potential list mixing with command cards, but see more 1/16, the Greyhounds being used with SS formation support. That seems to be the meta. And of course, how'd this get in there? You're doing a great job with these surveys, Joe. Keep up the good work. Oh, wow. How'd that get in there? And what are you doing?
I didn't do that.
Okay. Anyway, so that's That's what's going on there. So, what you know what? Some people brought up these support options. Let's take a look at them here. I, looking at the support options, there's nothing that really just stands out at me other than the Hummel and the Wesp points wise. But does anything stand out for you?
Well, you get the cheaper recon too. The 221.
Right, 2 versus 3 points.
Yeah, I mean that's something that the regular Germans don't have at the moment.
That's true. Other than that, yeah, I don't see anything. I mean, Jack Panthers, if you're in the Panzer IVs with little snouts. But hey, I do want to let's take a look. I think there's a couple things that caught my eye. One of them was the Hummel, and I used the Hummel over the weekend. And by the way, that baby rocked. It was like pretty much with that 2+ firepower, if people failed, things were blowing up. Platoons were being pulled. I thought that was pretty good, especially since it's 9 points. And a typical German four-man mortar is 6. So 3 more points. I'm getting this stud of things. Oh, by the way, that 11 auto brutal forward firing, gun there. At one point, I actually in my my last game, I had to blitz and move the artillery through a forest because I was hiding them in a forest. I blitzed them to the edge so they could do direct fire on the T-34s, and I actually got 2 hits and 2 kills, which was pretty awesome. It's great. Firepower, auto.
Nice thing here with them is that even though that they're aggressive, the German support, the SS support. One reason why it's one of the better parts of the SS book is that the support generally retains their veteran status for skills. So that blitz that you talked about, that comes into play there. The ranging in, that comes into play for them as well. So they're not, that's the support options, even though they get that aggressive, if it's sitting back in the rear hiding out anyways, you're not too worried about how often it's hit. So it's actually a much better bargain for a support option.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, wow. Patrick said he ran 6 Hummels the other week. They were great. The rest of the force probably suffered. I'm sure it did.
Yeah, I don't get that comment that, if you play Americans and Russians, and you get used to being aggressive, getting hit on 3+. And maybe it's just that we haven't had this for the Germans lately in Flames of War. But all through version 2 and version 3, I played a lot of fearless trained Germans. And you just rolled with it. I did a lot of Fallschirmjägers and some SS stuff so that, you just have to get used to it. And I think that the problem right now is that the current group of normal Wehrmacht German players just haven't been used to that yet, and so it's just coming around. But you can be functional with it, and we'll hold other comments till we get further downrange.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things is that usually when you have 7 stands, and they cost a little bit more than your other stuff. You tend to get, pretty much when you start naming your stands, they become all precious to you, But I think one of the things I really like in this is the best card, especially for the infantry, because for 1 point you take the HQ and 2 points for the infantry units. You have to do them all, and they're still fearless, but they all become vets, and they're all hit on 4s. I think it's the best 2 points spent in the game, probably right next to a Panzerfaust.
Yeah, and you'd have to take that for the borders and as well, because the mortars would be infantry, right?
If it says infantry on it, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, good point. All infantry units. Yeah, if it says infantry on it, then it's a yes. So, but you could always take the 12. Oh, that's why I was looking at, because I would take the 12 centimeter in this case, which is a gun team.
Mhm.
But yeah, you'd have the all infantry. So I think this coupled with that, and I'm going to show something here in a second.
Well,
But
I've been playing SS Panzer Grenadiers, and our Ed and I have been doing the Race the Minsk campaign game, the card deck, and I've been running the Volksdeutsch, the 17th SS Panzer Grenadiers, and so they are a point cheaper, so they don't go up in cost, but their last stand goes to a 5+, which kind of falls along the theory. If it's an infantry unit, by the time you get down to 2 teams, I don't really care anyways. However, with the mortars, I'm a little bit more concerned about that when they get down to 2 teams, because they're still at half strength at least. So that's the card I've been making good use out of.
Right. Well, by the way, on the web selection, the screaming memes really popped out at me. Now, this isn't right, but it's there, so I just decided to pull it. You could. It has an option here for 12 Nebelwerfers for 37 points. Could you imagine just 12 Nebelwerfers? Just anyway, I saw that and I'm like, oh, that ain't right. By the way, the card's totally different. The card's the same as in the regular. Matter of fact, it is the regular Nebelwerfers. You just can get 2 sets of them in the book. But let's move on and let's talk about that infantry. So what I did here, and I'll make this big for everybody, or as big as I can. I put this little chart together, and the different infantry options and the armored infantry, what book it came out of. And then with the card options, so the 9th, the 1/16th Greyhound, it's an N on it. No, it's an M. The beach defenses and their various options, the Fallschirmjägers and the ones with no jump school, and then the SS Panzergrens with the best option, and then same down here, and took a look at them and say, oh, what do we get? And I put down the points right here, what they came out. And it appears to me, being a 100-point, basically the 100-point list, not all points are created equal. So, when you have Panzergren here, where you rally on a 4, last stands a 3, and then you take a look at the SS Panzergren, where you have a motivation of a rally. Basically your motivation's 3 all the way around. Sorry, for the best, and it's 9 points for each one. I think the only major difference is that the Panzerschrecks in the D-Day book, basically you can get 3. Here you only have an option for 1. I mean, if you're fine with that, this is definitely probably the way to go for your Panzergrens, getting these bad boys with the best card. Because you could get in your HQ +2 for 21 points, and your Panzergren you get in for 20. Seems pretty good to get in there. Also, the Panzergren actually has a option for mortars. By the way, this would be 7, as Tom pointed out. 5 points, 7 points. You would get the better rating Panzergren mortars, unless you were taking the 12 centimeter. No, yeah, the 81 centimeter mortar. Is it 81? What is it? There's the 8.5 and the the 12 centimeter. Yeah, that is a gun team, so you wouldn't be forced to take it. But it's just interesting to see how these points work out, where you could save a little and how much it changes. Because that 116 Greyhound takes them, and that last stand of 5. If you're fine with that, and your tactics is a 4, I mean you're saving some points there pretty significantly. Also, your mortar, which is only a 2-man stand, costs 1 point. Yeah. Thanks, Brian. 12 centimeter, 81's US. They all go thump, boom. But yeah. So I put this little chart together, and I don't know. What are your? I know this is the first time you're really seeing it. What do you think?
It's good. Extremely useful. We need to add a few more lines for some of the other SS options, but I was just thinking as I was looking at this, if for a point of analysis, just using it like it is, but just a few more comments on the far right as far as armor and guns and range and so on. This would be pretty useful just even for an army list, just to kind of not have to refer to the cards while you're playing. So I think it's a great tool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It kind of brings you back to a little old school, the way things were listed.
Yeah, the old army builder. Right?
Yeah. The I think it's look how expensive those Fallschirmjägers are. Yeah. Even the armored Panzergrens. If you went all out. Now, of course, you can go some armored and some not. You have those options, but it's pretty good. I mean, the German infantry. Look at where's that? Oh, the 716. Basically, for 7 teams that are MGs, 5 morale, 5 skill, 5 points. It's just like, you could get a ton of them. I mean, they all suck, but you just could get a ton of them. And someone would have to wade through all that. Jeez. Yeah, actually, Rich, I think I will do that. I'll put this out there for everybody so you kind of get a breakdown. Now, the one thing is not on here is each one of these has a little bit different options or little tweaks about what kind of combination you can get. Hey, you want those 7.5 half tracks? Only a couple of these allow those options.
Yep.
Not all of them do. And by the way, I like those little things. They take care of those little pesky stuff that runs around on the battlefield. So, okay. But let's kind of get the reason we're all here. Actually, start. We're going to do half of the half of the listings in the book today. The rest of them next week. I like to do that because otherwise this show would run pretty long. And we're almost an hour on it. I know we were having fun talking about a game we love, and it's already like an hour gone by listening to me tell dungeon stories. But it's like, yeah, and then my tank came over the hill and pow, 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 and it was amazing. And okay, so Patrick, we did have 19 at one point. That's kind of a high. Maybe it's the American flag in the back. I don't know. Or in fact that Tom's on and everyone's stopping to watch.
It could be.
It could be. You're the draw,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, marquee player. Oh, by the way, I not to give them any business, but I picked up. I was just moving this. I just picked these up. This is the Citadel for the cutting the plastic. Oh my Lord, worth every penny. I could butt up right next to it, and it gets a really clean cut. and I very minimum to clean it up on the little burr.
Hmm.
And I'm like, where's this been all my life? Because my old one, I'd clip it, and then I would have like this chunk of plastic left. Anyway, but enough about that. This episode sponsored by no, I'm just kidding. We're not sponsored by anybody. Anyway. Everyone have your handy dandy book. This is the book we're going to be referring to, and I talk about the book. And the first thing we're going to be referring to is not in the book; it's a card. Okay, and the first thing is the SS Armored Car Company. I thought we'd start off with the more interesting one. The SS Armored Car Company, which I know you basically you get the armored cars, and I think you have a mortar option and an infantry option. What I don't know. Have you ever used such a company, Tom?
No. In mid-war, you sometimes use armored car companies a lot, but I have not used one in late war, and particularly not the SS one. The SS one would be because it's aggressive. They're hit and they're not very stable units. They're a small number of hulls. It's not hard to get them, and they don't have the quite fully fearless morale check that the normal SSS, even the normal Wehrmacht units have for like less stand, because the armored car stuff doesn't counterattack nor do last stands as well as normal units. So it's kind of a dicey formation, I think. For if you're gonna run armored car company, go Wehrmacht. Keep the 4+ hit.
Well, I think the reason you'd want to run an armored car is if your formation support was just that awesome. Now, granted, you could take the armored car company and grab an SS Tiger. Oh, which, by the way, that was one of the cars I brought up for I didn't mention about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. For 1 point more, you get so much better morale on your Tiger. I don't think there's a reason to take a non-SS Tiger.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's like, if there's Tigers out there, you pretty much can almost guaranteed that they are the SS. For 1 more point, you get so much better on the morale, because there's nothing like going into an assault where it's a 50-50 chance that they're going to stick in the assault. So, but back to this. So the reason you want to take our armored car company is to take the formation support to surround it, like the British. You don't have that here, so I think it's one of those things that I don't know if it's a very low point game that you want to take these, or you just want to have you want to add it to your regular formation so that you have more things to put on the table, especially in a fair fight. Mm-hmm. So that you're not putting your good unit, you're putting this trash unit stuff out there until you see how they put their stuff out, and then you can react.
Well, you would get a lot of them. You can have 2 to 6 of those SDKFZ 221, 222 units. So that's only 12 points for 6 units. I mean, they're not great, and they'll get blown away if anybody concentrates on them, but you can hide them. You can deploy them and just keep them out of sight, out of mind, and then and let your support do the main talking. And you can still get the infantry platoon, the reconnaissance platoon, as part of this formation, so that helps.
Yeah, Patrick says the SS Tigers don't last long when you roll Snake Eyes.
Yeah, if you're gonna roll Snake Eyes, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. So I mean, there's not much saying about the armored car company. I mean, how would you rate them?
I would not rate them higher than a C. Again, very, very, very specialized, and probably even possibly a D. So I guess a C- maybe. But unless you're really big into armored cars and reconnaissance fights, if I was playing as the command car, the mission, the objective deck. There's a lot of I forgot what the title of it is. I've got it hanging around here somewhere. But talk about the fog of war. The fog of war. If you're using those, then they could be kind of interesting because a lot of those fog of war missions require reconnaissance and getting reconnaissance units within certain proximity to objectives. So that could be kind of fun. But tournament wise, no, I don't think this is what I'd want for my main force. But you probably could find a reason to do anything under the sun. But if I was going to go the armored car route, I'd just go a few more points to get the guys that are hit less, the regular Wehrmacht guys.
Well, I'm going to go D, just because kind of like the same thing you're saying. I don't think there's any particular reason to take them as by themselves. And let's see what the public said. They went with mostly C. Now most you chose wisely. Yes. Anyway, there's 2 A's out there. I don't know what they were thinking. I know where the D's are going, and the B's are probably like, I don't know. It's hard to say what they're thinking, but definitely the C's. So between your C and my D, and how many C's, we'll rank that as a C. So
yeah,
put that out there as the final answer, C.
Yep, if they really want to run them.
They really want to run them. All right. Well, I probably should have. The next, it's kind of like the theme tonight, is the SS Panzer IV Company, which is did I miss the stones? The SS Panzer IV Company, which is on page 26.
I'm just going through the cards.
Yeah. Oh no, good. I have them. All right. Oof. I thought I left the Stugs out, but no, they're there. Okay, good. The SS Panzer. So, oof. Okay. So their skills 4 and they're hit on 3s. I know off the top of my head, 16 points for 3 for the regulars. These are 13 points for 3. So you're saving 3 points to get smacked around a little bit harder. Now, granted, they're fearless and they do mount on 2s.
Yeah. And then if you want to go the opposite direction, just add 2 more points, you get 4 tanks per platoon. So it's another significant increase in your number of shots. You go from 6 stationary to 8 stationary. That's a big help.
Yeah, well, we have 18 points for 4. Now, of course, we know 18 points gets you an Achilles platoon, which is hit on 4s, has a 14 gun instead of an 11, has the same movement. It doesn't have the same, tank. Basically, they have different roles. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's that, man, being hit on 3s really bothers me.
It should. You play Americans and Soviets enough, and if the points are getting close to the, and one thing with this, they're only trained, but remember these SS units have the old hand rule. So when it comes to those blitzes and shoots and scoots, it's not hard to keep a couple platoons of these within command range of your platoon, your company headquarters to take advantage of that rule. So I think this could be a very skilled player. I don't definitely not a new player, but someone who knows what they're doing. Like maybe what you just did in your last tournament, even with a handful of these things, can do some serious damage. So it's I don't think it's as bad as but it's just not going to get good until a lot of good players start running it, and it's too finesse even for good players to want to run it unless they're just wanting to do something different.
Right. Well, Brian here, I know hit on threes isn't a big deal as long as you have the morale and the last stand of +3. I don't know. I think it is a big deal. Yeah. Oh, compare the SS Panzer IV SS to the I don't know. That's that might be a straight up fight. A 12 gun to 11 gun, both are front 6. Oh, you know what? But the T-34 moves 12, and across country is like stupid.
2+, yeah, 2+.
Yeah, and it's 28 across country. I mean,
and it has the crafty all the time for the blitz and the so it has the I think that's what it's called, crafty.
yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to have the commander nearby to do it. So yeah, that's
Right.
probably not a good deal. The T-34-85 is probably a better basic choice.
Yeah, I'm going to have a new one. Not all points are created equal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, this thing can blitz and shoot and scoot. The T-34 cannot. So again, if you are crafty or you're good with what you're doing and you can get the right kind of table setups, you can make it where that 3+ aggressive is almost a non-factor. If you can just use those blitz and shoot and scoots, you got hills or terrain that doesn't cause bog checks that allows you to come up, shoot, and get back. So that's the one advantage it would have over the T-34-85. That T-34-85, when it shoots, it's stuck wherever it's at. It's not going anywhere else. In that position.
Well, there's also the you blitz, getting you into that advantageous position, fire, obliterate what's in front of you, and then you don't have to worry about moving back.
That's an option too.
Yeah.
You have reliable dice.
Yeah. Gone.
That's the best option, but it's good to have a backup plan.
Yeah. A couple weekends ago, or maybe like the last month or so, we had another tournament last month, and I ran a Hero T-34-85 company. Ugh. I lost a lot of tanks. They're just getting the bejeebus, the snot kicked out of them. Well, because it was a 100-point game, and I was fighting things much heavier than them. And if I didn't have the IS-2s, I would not have been competitive. So maybe it's one of those things too that maybe like an 80-point game is where these medium tanks come into play.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe. Well, anyway, yeah. But what would you? I'll be brave. I'll go first this time. Well, hold on. So Brian is saying here, Tom Joe is saying a good player wouldn't have an issue with it. Yeah, probably. You're right. I have issues with everything. So, just getting the snot kicked out of me. But dice don't usually go my way. So I have to be really clever about what I'm doing. I don't know. I think on this one, I'd probably give it maybe a B. It's definitely not. It's definitely not A. Definitely not A. I'd probably go B.
Yeah, I would go C for your average player, and then probably, like I said, B for the more veteran ones that just want to do something different.
All right. Well, let's see what the voting public came up with. They said it was. 13 people on the survey said B, 12 said C, but 6 said A, and 4 said D. Well, you know what that kind of pulls it back to? Probably pulls it to a B.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go along with that. It's a good place to be.
Well, it's not universally great, and that's what you need to get beyond that B. It's going to, like I said, some matchups it's going to be hurting. You come across the heavy tanks, the IS-2s, you're going to have a hard time punching those. And and you're gonna, the fact that you are hit more often is going to mean that your resiliency is in time on the battlefield is going to be less. So you're going to have to win big quick, or you're just going to be worn down.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. Yeah, because when you take a hit, you pretty much I have to roll a 6 to maybe survive. So, but let's go. We'll move on to the next one, which is the Panther SS. I'll let you begin with your thought. Oh, it's on basically those who are following from home. It really starts on page 23 of your book. I think it's the one thing I think is interesting is in your formation selection is that you can have basically it's like you're deciding what your HQ is and then what the rest of the tanks are, because you can have a Panther, you can have a Tiger, and you can have a Panzer IV, or you can have a Stug, whereas the actually interesting. The Panzer IV is basically you have the Panzer IV, or you could take a Tiger or a Panther, or then an option, another 4 or Stug. You can mix it up. But really, this is all about the Panther SS. 26 points for 3. What's that coming down to?
Just under 9.
Yeah. I don't know. It's got that 3 front, 1 top, the 5 side. Once again, fearless, and it's trained, and and you get the old man with the old hand. Sorry, I think it'd probably be better if it was called the old man, but the old hand. Who is the skill 3 who passes that on to the whippersnappers, I guess. I don't know. Let's put it this way. I know the Panthers tough as far as the statistics go, but the fact that it's 9 points when the Soviets could get 3 for 21, and it's still a pain in the ass, and you don't have to worry about too much about blitzing, because you can just park yourself in cover and pretty much just roll the roost from where you're at. I mean, what's a 40-inch gun? What's your thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, I've been running these a lot lately. This has been the only tank I've run in our Race to Minsk campaign so far, and I'm kind of liking it. I'm liking the fact that you can get more of them. I don't like them in the idea of just running like 3 of them, but as a unit of maybe 4 or even 5, and I've run them as high as 5 in our campaign. They're pretty awesome to have that many shots from AT-14 under such heavy armor. The only thing I really don't like about them is the aggressive only bugs me when it comes to air attacks for the Sturmovix coming in with the or Typhoons, I guess, if you're playing on the the Western Front. So that's where that because with that 1 top armor, that's where that aggressive really scares me. I'm not worried about my flanks so much because I can generally protect my flanks. Normally just carefully maneuver them, except for in some missions like Dust Up or something, you sometimes have to expose your flanks. But I'm okay with them. I don't know. Now, I think we're talking about these as companies. I'm not so sure I like the idea of running these as a company. So we're talking this at the company level or the platoon level here when we're rating these things?
Oh, company.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not too fond of the company level. It's just, and I don't like the mix with other tanks. So I wouldn't be running a company of full Panthers, and I wouldn't be running Camp Panthers with Panzer IVs mixed in, or different things in there. I just don't see the utility for that. So I'm not going to be too fond of these as a formation, to base my force off of. But I'm kind of open to these guys as a separate platoon running around.
Well, I could see if one wanted to do a SS, like Panzergren,
Mhm.
and take a whole bunch of stuff, and all of a sudden take 5 Panthers as support at 100 points, because there's your one reserve is your
Right.
Panthers. You probably have plenty enough in the infantry company to slow down, or to hold on until help arrives. But yeah, as far as the support option, I think it's a good option, compared to you also got the Tiger, the SS Tiger. I don't know. Let me just go take a look for comparison. La di da 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 da. Yeah, 3 for 37, 4 for 35. And just, trying to be close in points. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, but the SS Tigers are hit on 4s.
Yeah, well, that's a big difference. But they're still limited to the number of shots they can put down range.
Yeah. Yeah, what beautiful shots they are.
Oh, these got the same ones. They're AT-14, Firepower 3 Plus.
Yeah. But they just look more graceful from a Tiger.
Yeah. Well, the 88 millimeter shell has a green tracer on it that's more more distinctive on the battlefield.
Oh, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, they said during in the desert that at Kasserine Pass that the 88s, as they were shooting the Americans, they looked like big green orbs going across the desert floor, and they kicked up the dust behind them. I just would have been an incredible sight to see those things.
Oh, you gave me a vision of like Dragon Ball Z when they do and it kicks up the dust behind them. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
I see that. How would you rate the? Oh, well, I'm kind of gathering. How would you rate the Panther SS?
Yeah, for a company level, I'm going to have to go D. You're not going to get enough of them, even though they're cheaper than the Tigers. You're still not going to have enough other support. So I just don't see myself ever wanting to run a Panther company in version 4, SS or Wehrmacht.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was going between C and D. You just convinced me. I'm gonna go D too.
All right, let's see what they say.
Yeah, I know. Well, all right. Let's see what they do say. Boom. I know a lot of B's.
I don't know.
A lot of A's.
I
D's.
don't know about that.
Well, the thing is, you try to put a 100-point list together, and guess what happens? You basically just have Panthers and nothing else.
You're not going to run a full Panther. You're going to take your headquarters because you have to take Panthers, right?
Right.
And then maybe one platoon is Panthers, and the rest are going to be Panzer IV, because you need that in order to make it. And so I don't feel like I'm really playing a Panther company. So I just wouldn't, and I wouldn't, like I said, if I was going to run Panthers, I'd want them as a support element in an infantry force, not as a heavy tank and a medium tank force. It just doesn't seem to leave enough for you.
Well, if you played the minimum, which is one in the headquarters and 2 platoons of 3, that's 62 points right there. And life tells me in one bad round of shooting, you could break, your company would break.
Yep.
So,
especially with all the M10 Achilles out there and the U.S. tank destroyer units, there's a lot of I mean, now that they've dropped the armor down to 9 from a 10, the AT-12 gets pretty darn scary even at range.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, at some point, I was thinking about how would I run these things, and can I run them from a distance and just snipe? But at some point, it has to become a knife fight for you to win. Because at some point, even like by turn 6, in most scenarios, you got to be within 8 inches of the objective. This is if you're the aggressor. And being a tank company, you probably would be the aggressor. So if you got to get into a knife fight at some point, and I think that's where these things just terribly just fall right flat.
Yeah, and they're probably going to be in reserve, so they're not going to be at long range by the time they show up. They're going to show up as the enemy's getting kind of close to the objectives. Because if you're running them, you're going to be running them with a infantry force, and so you're probably defending against a tank force. And so by the time they're there on the battlefield doing their thing, they're probably at close to 16 inches already.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I'm surprised that so many people went so high with them.
Oh no.
I mean,
No, they're wrong.
yeah, have you seen? I mean, you guys have run a lot of tournaments. You haven't seen Panther companies running amok up where you're at, are you?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the only Panthers I've seen are the Soviet captured Panthers.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean,
painting 3 of them right now.
yeah, it's like, oh, that makes sense. 7 points apiece. Oh, and 3 of them, 21 points. Oh, heck, yeah, I'd run those all day if I could.
Yeah, I kind of think that the Battlefront guys could have squeezed out maybe one more point for the Panzer IV and the Panther to make them a more enticing choice. But apparently, a lot of people think they are, but I'm not seeing them on the tabletop. Particularly amongst good players. So I don't know that I can go much higher than the D. Maybe a C, maybe, but at the D level, I'm thinking D.
Yeah, I don't think. Hold on, I want to compare something real quick. Now we're talking about the Panzer IV. Where are you guys? I know you're in here somewhere. Tiger. There's one page over. Yeah, so you go. Well, that is a big dump. That's a Stug. Whoops, Panzer Force. Yeah, 13 for 3 or 26 for. Wow. Yeah, it's like double. Jeez. Man, it's a lot. I think as a support option, it's probably a way to go. Not as a company.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Who do we have here next? Oh, the SS Pumas. I know.
Yeah, they're just like the Wehrmacht one says. You so want to run these. They're so cool. I mean, it's such a sexy looking vehicle. I mean, it's just fast, lean. It's got 50 millimeter gun that can actually do some damage against medium tanks and hit above its weight. But the thing that kills it for me is that they can only run in a platoon. It's really a section of 2 vehicles. That's just a little bit too small for me to be comfortable with. Yeah, there it is.
I at one point they actually in a book they had them running 3s, and I actually put as a ringer list one time put together a set of these running in 3s. They're I had to tell myself that was a good thunder. They're not tanks, but you know what? You're right. There's a cool factor going on with them. I wish they were in 3s. Then I would think about actually running them. But in 2s, and the fact that I think it was a late war. Was playing in a late war. I don't know, maybe around 100 points, and I had grenadiers, and I had some Pack 40s, and some martyrs, and some tigers. And it's in no retreat, right? So my tigers are in reserve, go figure. And the Pack 40s are in ambush. The martyrs are kind of hiding behind the hill of board. My opponent's running a crap load of Pumas. And he thinks he's just going to do this big swarm, through minefields and crap like that. I don't know why he was thinking that. But anyway, I ambushed the Pack 40s. I actually got a blitz in on top of the hill, and he's thinking, oh, but you can only kill so many. I said, contraire. This gun, that platoon. This gun, different platoon. This gun, different platoon.
Right.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, there's like 5 or 6 platoons going on.
Yeah.
Because all I had to do was hit one, blow it away, and now he's looking for 5s to stick around, and they all ran.
If it was version 3, you could you'd have to kill them both, right? They would take no morale check until they're completely destroyed. So that would actually be something to consider. But here, you lose one and you're checking. It's just and again, because the reconnaissance, they're not as stout in their last stand as the normal Germans.
No, and I think as far as a tournament scene goes, I think that actually just kills it for the Pumas. If I see a Puma on a table for a tournament, I'd be very surprised. Just for the fact that you can lose. And the thing is, I don't want to lose them, so why should I pay the extra points for the studliness of the 9 gun when I could just get regular? Because we all know infantry for the win, right? Infantry win games, and you have to have the infantry and use it just for that role in this version. And if all of a sudden you put a big gun on it, you want to use it, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're losing it. Kurt here, he says, "Yep, coolest looking scout for sure." I mean, hey, it's got 8 wheels that turn independent, and it's got that big gun, and it looks like it means business. Oh yeah, and it has 2 steering wheels, forward and reverse.
Right, you got the rear driver.
Yeah. Hey, Hans, get us out of here.
Yeah, if these guys had that, I think the what is it, the 234, the open top with the PaK 40. If that was like you could take that as a mass platoon in this formation, I might consider it, but you can't. It's not even in there as an option to take those guys. So I wouldn't, and I even know the SS even have the option for that vehicle in here. I know the model exists for Battlefront. I just don't think that we can run that thing here yet.
No, but excuse me. I do. Well, what would you rate them?
Oh, I'm going to go with a D.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm trying so hard to play my SS in this campaign, but as I'm playing them and doing okay, with Ed, we've played 3 games. I've won 2, I've lost 1, and I've had some good fights with them, but I just don't know that SS is there's anything in it that I really want to take to tournaments, as far as competitive play. There might be some things later on in this, towards the end of the year if I'm doing well, and I just want to play some different stuff to try it out. That's when I probably play an SS or a historical campaign scenario thing where that's the units that were there, and so that's what I'll run. So yeah, so these guys, you're going to hear a lot of low ratings from me for this book, but these guys are certainly, I think, a D.
I am going to go with a D also, just because you can't do anything with them, and we didn't give the armor car that high, and then if you want to make them useful, basically you have to put them in jeopardy, and putting them in jeopardy is bad.
Yeah.
So let's see what the public said. A lot of C's and D's, some B's and some A's. Definitely no M's. Yeah.
I don't know how potentially fun and struggle go in the same sentence for me. But that struggle makes them, I guess it's potentially fun and a challenge. Okay, maybe, yeah. But they're you're gonna have a hard time doing much against anybody, even in terms of machine guns. There's only just the coax, right? There's no, they're even shorter on the terms of shots that the normal tanks would have. So no, it's not high on my list to go. And in fact, I had I inherited Mike Fanninsteel's Flames of War collection, and I had 12 Pumas at one point. and they paint it and everything. I'm like, nope, I'm just going to let them go. I just don't see Pumas being viable for. And this was over a year ago, and just as a lot of the D-Day stuff was starting to roll out, and I was like, it's just not going to work at two vehicles for me.
Oh yeah, matter of fact, I have a lot of Pumas and I have a lot of Lukes. That kind of that recon thing from version 3.
The Lukes you might be able to do something with later on. They're not. They might have a little niche. We'll see.
I always thought they were a cool looking little tank. It's kind of like the 68 Chevelle of tanks.
Yeah, sure.
It's just, hey, it looks like it has some get up and go. Well, that leads us to our last company for this evening, which is the SS Panzer Grenadier Company, which is not the armored one. And I think this has the mixture that you're looking for as far as an infantry company. It's got a little of this, a little of that. I think the only thing it's really missing is a recon option in the formation, which I guess ain't that bad. And one of the things I really like about it is that the 8 centimeter mortar has the option more than 2.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually take 4 or 6. And also there's the 12 centimeter mortar, and you can and they both are not the same box. So you can have 2 8s or an 8 and a 12 as far as mortar options go, which I'm really digging. Except I would try to take the Hummel before the 12 centimeter. It's only a couple more points.
Yeah, but it's not a formation unit.
It's not, but
and if you're using one of these command cards that reduce, you get the savings on points. You can drive those mortars down a little bit, depending on which one you pick. So, yeah, it's you can't argue with the Hummels, but having more units in the formation and having especially units that are hit on 3s versus the normal German 4s can help you out a little bit. And this is what I'm playing in our campaign. Like I said, with cutest tank ever built. Nice. Now, the race to Minsk, I've been running SS Panzer Grenadiers, the foot Grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers, without the transports. And again, two games to 1, they're hanging in there. And I'm mostly defending. The way the cards are set up, I have to play a lot of no retreats and so on until we get a little further down in the campaign. I guess I'll get a chance to counterattack. So they've been good, and they've been having and I take the Volksdeutsch downgrade, so I save a point more. Take the 2 full infantry platoons, take the headquarters. I take the 80 millimeter mortars, the 120 millimeter mortars. I've been taking the machine guns, so I've got a very big formation. Oh, and the PaK 40s, and that's the thing. The one thing that I really don't like about these guys is that the PaK 40 unit that they get only has the 3-gun option. You can't get the 4 guns. And with the Panthers in reserve, the PaK 40s are always the ambush unit, and not having that one additional gun tube in the ambush really gnaws at me every time I break it out on the board. so that's the one thing that really has distressed me about the normal Panzer Grenadiers, the Wehrmacht guys. I'm pretty sure they can get the 4-gun PaK 40s, and I definitely would go that route if I could.
Yeah, I believe they do.
So I can check it out.
Yeah, I know. Might as well take it.
My bookshelf's right there. So.
Yeah, I had just grabbed it out of my bag. Page 57 in that book.
Almost
57. There, yeah. There's
a 4. Yeah.
By the way, are you guys mounted on a large base?
Mine are. Yeah, mine are.
Yeah. I was the guy in version 3 that had mounted on a small base. A medium base. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta redo all mine and get them on a large base.
I like the large bases on those. I know it's less for placement and harder to get them into position. And there's some good reasons to run them on medium bases before, and you could do that. But I just like the large base. I like the look of it and having the additional gunners on it. So and I just thought it was a cool weapon system. So I didn't mind to have it. The PAC 40, it's iconic, right? So I kind of like the medium base on it. Sorry, the large base. The large base.
Hey, there's YouTube videos out there of people that actually own working PAC 40s. You seen that? Any of those guys like in Arizona cranking one of those off?
No, I've not.
Oh, it's like, wow. They're like at one of those, Arizona anything goes firing range.
Right.
And it's and they roll one up and then they're getting ready to fire it, right? And all of a sudden the entire range just starts going quiet. And everyone's like, oh, what you got over there? And they're about ready to pull that bad boy. And then all of a sudden, boom! They crank that thing off. Thing has a little jump. The amount of dust and everything it kicks out in front of it, and it's like boom! And all of a sudden, like a quarter mile away, is like they're shooting inside of a mountain. It's like boom! That shell just right into it, and then you can hear in the parking lot. I mean, it's just a concussion from behind it, setting off the car alarms.
It was a 75 L48, so it had a pretty long cartridge. It had a lot of powder behind that 75 millimeter round, much more than we had like on the 75 millimeter Sherman round. And then the Panther was even more. A Sherman round's not much more than about a foot and a half long. I mean, it's not that big. But then you get a Panther round, and it's about 4 feet off the ground. And they're both 75 millimeter. So yeah, I had a lot of power behind it. I have seen a video of M18s. Was it M18s or M10s? Somebody was shooting one of those, and I think it had a tragedy on it. I think it had a misfire or the breech burst or something.
That was I posted that.
That's
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, because that story was that Hellcat.
Right.
I was coming out of work, and I was before getting on the highway. I was at a Love's, and I pulled in, and all of a sudden there's a Hellcat there, and I'm like, "Well, what the hell is this?" And so I took some pictures, and hold on, hopefully they're still on the camera, and I took some pictures.
I think you posted it on Facebook.
Yeah, I did post it on Facebook. Interesting story there. God, this is such a long time ago.
Yeah.
I have a button that says I could go through a lot of things, and so what I ended up doing was I'm looking for the pictures because it's interesting story is that I looked up the serial number, and it also had a name, and so what I ended up doing was I ended up looking at the history of the tank, and I come to find out it had that tragic history of where the one owner there was some historical society that wanted to do a slow-mo of the gun firing, so they took it out, and it was a guy that owned a tow truck company. And one of the guys he works with him was a reenactor. It was a Hellcat, and he in the filming of they're going to film it and do a slow mo of the shell coming out, and in that something happened. It wasn't a bad breach. Something happened it's like they dropped the shell or something went off, and it didn't hurt the gun, but it ended up killing the two guys. And then it was they had a misfire and didn't wait for the amount of proper time for it to be a dud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And anyway, the wife didn't want it anymore, so she put it up for auction, and then some bought it, and it was going from West Coast to East Coast. That's when I saw it. And so I posted a thing. And here's kind of the crazy thing about it, this being a small world. I posted it up, and some people said, I wrote a nice article about it, and this is some time ago. And I actually got a contact from a person that knew both of those people on the West Coast, saying, yeah, I knew them. I was friends with them. It was very tragic. Thank you for their memory. And I thought, wow, well, it's a small world,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but it was just to happen to, just seeing it. And by the way, you couldn't miss it. I mean, it's on a flatbed and looked great. It's like, wow, what is this? Took some pictures of it, had the serial number, had the name, do a little search, boom. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, it's a shame that, the gentlemen's lost their lives. Especially for a hobby.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you are dealing with an older vehicle that actually fires live rounds. So, be careful with that. But anyway, oh, you know what? Did we actually say what we rated the Panzer Grenadiers?
Not yet.
Anyway, you know what? Sorry for the long draw out there, guys, and so sorry. I think it was a Tuesday or maybe
as we segue from Pack 40s to M18s.
Right. But well, anyway, just that's what this thing's all about. Just keeping it honest, keeping it real, and what I know when I'm rating these bad boys, but what would you give these guys?
I give these guys a B plus. I could probably live with an A minus. Again, I'm not going to recommend them to newer players, but I think they're capable. I think you got a lot of options. You sit with the extra mortars, and I also like the command cards, making them even cheaper. Or as you said earlier, give them the best infantry to get them back up to normal, real, true SS stats. Or what people think are true SS stats. I don't think that they always were that good, but so yeah, they're a good contender and a good option if you really want something. And there's a reason to play these outside of the Wehrmacht book, because they are fearless across the board, and you can upgrade them to make them true veterans as well. So yeah, these guys are good contenders. So I think if they could get bigger size units, or could get some more Panzerfaust to bump up their size, or attach machine guns, I'd be even more excited about them. But the only thing that limits these guys are their 17 normal size. That's just, I'd like to be able to bump that up a little bit more to make them a little bit more resilient. But yeah, these guys for me are at least a B, and I could go for an A minus.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a solid A, especially if you can get the best card with them. Because it's not that much more, and you get much more, but your support options are still cheap,
right? And still good.
By the way, I found the photograph on my phone.
Yeah,
I don't know what kind of focus that is, but you get the idea.
Yeah,
by the way, it did get a lot of attention.
Yeah, it had the tank destroyer logo.
Oh yeah, it has a little Hellcat on it. Oh, hold up.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. That orange circle. Yeah,
the orange circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 5A 805 TD. Yeah, it's I don't think the tools are. I actually, it has the tools on it. I'm surprised they didn't take the tools off as they were transporting it, but it's a neat little tank. Who made did Chrysler make that or something like that?
I can tell you, GMC, somebody. Could have been multiple companies.
Hold on. We gotta follow protocol. We gotta. Hey, the public said A's, B's, and there were some M's in there. The first time we've seen an M.
Not an M, but sure. A, sure. B, yeah. I think overall I've been a bit more stingy than the public and you, Joe. But this is one of my strong points in this. This is a force that I would play possibly in tournaments, just because I think it has a good chances.
One second. Shh, Brian, don't let anyone know.
Yeah. So next episode, you get to hear some of my battle reports from the race to Minsk with Ed.
Well, if it's SS, it fits, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm running.
And by the way, I think the public wants to hear from stories like that from us.
Yeah.
A little bit. Hey, you know what? This is the time we get to play. I know we didn't do it last time, but let's play. What did we learn? And we talked about a lot of different things today. And let's play. What did we learn? Ann, did you learn anything today?
No.
No, Ann did not. So
I'm sorry. I no, I did not learn anything.
You didn't learn anything.
Well, Joe learned.
SS is cool. I guess SS played well. I guess.
Joe learned Panzerlied means Panzer March. I know.
Yes.
Panzer March, right? I might have knew that, but it kind of reminded me. Tom, did you learn anything?
Yeah. I think I learned I'm more stingy on ratings than the general public here. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm a pessimistic individual and didn't realize it. But so I'm gonna go back and take a look at some other things. But I'm pretty happy with this last one though, and I'm glad to see a lot of people. A big percentage think that the Panzer Grenadiers are in the A and B range. That's good to see that there's some anchor in this book for people to go forward with.
I was gonna say, it's not really something he said on the air though. I was thinking I learned that Tom's family mostly lives in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, and I learned that most of your family. That was before.
That's
yeah. Why Tom was in the green room?
Yeah. That's a recent phenomena. I mean, that's all happened within the last 3 or 4 years. They just one by one, they just keep getting like there's a Burgess magnet in Charlotte that keeps drawing us in. Apparently, I don't know why. That it just somehow my oldest daughter randomly went there. Then my sister, whose husband's an FBI agent, got assigned there. And then my mother decided to go there because my sister was there, so she'd be closer. She's living in an elderly home, but she wanted to be close to her daughter. And then so now I'm like, wow, most of the family I have left is now congregated around Charlotte, North Carolina. So.
Well, Rich learned that SS support is great. Yeah, it is. It's got a lot of good options.
Yeah, that's something that's something I would not have considered before this webinar webcast we've just done. Looking at your list, just taking the, I don't intuitively think that way. I'm like, okay, if I'm playing this, I'm taking the support that comes with that. You have a lot more flexibility in the books to do that than a lot of people would realize on the first glance. So you really do need to think about those options. And so taking an SS support with Wehrmacht units, it's legal, it's viable, and you ought to think about it more because you got a prime example right here with Joe using it to great effect. So,
or got lucky. Patrick learned that Toys for Tots is a go.
Yay! Toys for Tots.
Yep.
And it's going to be awesome. And it is. It is going to be awesome.
Always is.
So, Jeffrey. Awesome chart of infantry comparison across the books. Yeah. I'll get that out there for you guys. And Brian learned that I could talk for 2 hours and cover 5 companies. Oh, you know what? Blah blah.
That's why you brought. That's why you brought me in, Joe. Where I work, they call it a Tomsertation because I can just go on forever about one subject. So.
Oh well, hold on. You remember Team Yankee Masters?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We were like 3+ hours.
yeah. You and I both. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you can find that in the catalog, the history. There was a lot of cool things going on in those 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch that again.
Yeah, there's a lot of gems in that thing. Tom tells some great stories. We got other people as they're finishing game telling stories. Who we were talking to? What's his name in Europe? He was leaving notes like this, and we were having conversations.
Comments, yeah.
Comments. He was in the
Breakthrough assault guy.
What Denmark's was?
Oh yeah, the Danish guy. Right. Yeah.
Danish guy, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Also, let's see. Okay, here. Confirmed my fears with Panthers. By the time they get to the table, the enemy is close. Yeah, too close.
Mm-hmm.
Then Brian here. Joe's the color man. Yeah, I actually do look a little flush. I got to figure out some of the lights. And Tom's the straight guy.
Yeah.
It was like, Lou, how many times did I tell you there's no such thing as werewolves? Anyway. But tell that to him. Anyway.
That's showing at the Franklin Theater, the theater in Franklin.
Oh, really? Which one? Oh, the
Abbott and Costello meet the Wolfman.
Well, there was some.
We meet Frankenstein or whatever it is.
Well, there was the one with Dracula, werewolf, and
that's the one that they're showing.
And the Mummy.
Oh,
I think we have a historical theater here in Franklin, and they show. I think it's called the Historic Art Craft Theater, and they will. You can sponsor a film, and they're going to be showing the Abbott and Costello film.
That was a good one.
That was really good.
Yeah, I just like that. It goes, there's no such thing as ghosts. Well, tell him that. So ooh. Anyway, yeah.
We can go see it this weekend. Anyway.
Yeah, probably. We're gonna get something to do this weekend. Anyway, we're gonna. Any other? What did we learn? Let's see here. We got Skoda Fest in Greenville, South Carolina, December 5th. Right. Which, by the way, I told the guys you should make that a Toys for Tots event on top of what you're doing. And is that December 5th? Why did I think that was in November? But anyway, yeah, okay, I'll go. You probably know more than I do about that. Looks like it's gonna be a great turnout. That's great.
It was going to be in November, Joe. Skoda Fest was in November until Masters got set, and then they pushed it back.
Oh,
not conflict with Masters. So.
Well, that's interesting. It's because Jackson was always complaining that he was missing it because he would be going to Masters. I'm like, well, what? Boo-hoo! I'm going to Masters, but I'm going to. Yeah, I'm glad they moved it, and if they could couple it with, okay, so it's confirmed now. All right, cool.
Tell them to make it Toys for Tots.
Yeah, make it Toys for Tots. Combine that in there, and it's a twofer.
Yep.
Knock it out.
When you're heightened in merchandise.
Yeah, in merchandise. It's all about the merchandise. Got to move the merch.
Well, the first year y'all did Toys for Tots, I won a single box. From that ran. So not only there's the big prize of the stack, and then there's the next biggest prize is of the Army sets, like you said, 5. But there are a ton of people that got just a single box set, and I ended up getting I think Nebelwerfers.
Actually 40 people randomly drawn get a box set that they hopefully can get out of the store's inventory. Right. Otherwise they'll send it. But yeah, that's right. The big prize, your height, 5 second place prizes of armies. I forget the points. I have to look it up again. It's a decent amount of points of army, and then 40 prizes. Now, by the way, if you run and don't play, you're still eligible as long as you give a toy. So just because you're running an event doesn't mean you can't be in the drawing. Right. But you need to bring a toy to win.
Does bring in multiple toys give you multiple entries? I don't remember if that worked.
No.
They just got the list.
I'm glad you mentioned that because the thing is by bringing multiple toys means that really it's the kids that are the winner. Yeah. But what it is, there is also a store contest that happens too. That's why you want to take a picture. You take a picture of the toys, and the store with the most toys gets a Battlefront award of something. They get a little something. I don't remember what. It's funny. I wrote the copy and I don't remember. But yeah, they get a little something. Maybe it was like $200 or something like that. I don't quote me on it. It'll be in the copy. But the stores win something too. So yeah, there's something in for everyone. Oh, if you know what, if you bring toys to multiple events, I think you know, Brian. Yes, you would get multiple entries.
Yeah.
Because you went to store Y, did something, go to store X, did something. Both will submit a form of names. Those names get tossed in a jar or a hat or whatever they pull them out of. Hey, your name will be in both just because you were in both. You're just not going to get multiple just for being at one. What's it? Breaking right is the best gift. Breaking. Was it, or maybe Breaking Bad, the entire series? Give that to some kid. Here, kid, learn chemistry. Oh, anyway. Well, I think we're. Sorry. Yeah, bragging rights.
Okay.
That is the best gift. Yeah. Hey, you remember the time I kicked your butt? That was awesome.
Indeed.
You're doing it from your phone. Yeah, it's a curse and a gift. That, and as my picture goes away, now there I'm back. That's interesting. But hey, I think I had less of it this time using my supercomputer. Anyway, well, now what's going on? Are you doing something? No, you're not doing anything.
I'm waiting for you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I think
It's time to go.
yeah, it's time to go. Maybe it's a storm coming in. We'll blame it.
Yeah, we have a storm going on.
Okay. Anyway, Tom, thank you. We'll see you next week to continue this.
Looking forward to it.
And
It won't be 2 hours.
yeah, and you want to go ahead and play us out.
Okay.
And everyone, it's a little feet stomper. Yep. All right, everybody. You have a great week. We'll see you next week. Stay lively. Have fun out there. Start planning those Toys for Tots. Everyone have a great one.
All right.
It's counting. I hit the button. Stop.